Okay, hi guys. We're gonna try something a little different here mm, than the norm or what I usually do. Um, yeah, I don't know. The lighting's really crappy. The lighting's really crappy. Oh, shit. The lighting's. Oh, I'm not very good at making videos. I'm good at reading tarots, and that's about it. So, I have a few things that I'd like to talk to you guys about, talk to everybody about, and I don't know how it'll be handled or taken or not taken. I guess we'll find out, won't we? Um, so my name's Tracie. Hi. Um, my channel is Technicians of the Sacred. Yeah, and the sacred is what we do, what we are. There's we, there's Chip, and then there's hopefully soon others that will be joining us. There's Rom, the dog, and the other dogs. Hopefully I'll have videos of them soon too. And our jam members, people who play music with us. Never really took the time to introduce ourselves. Chip isn't here right now, so we'll have to do a separate video for him and his introduction and what he does. Because art is life and life is art. I read tarots. I give emotional support to people that are awakening and confused and help reconnect them to their emotional body, specifically the emotional body. So what I want to discuss here today is polarities. And we live in the third dimension, which is a very low dense dimension. That's where we're carbon beings, but we're evolving to a crystal silica liquid crystal based being instead of a carbon based being. And it's be a liquid silica based being. And it's an evolution, not a mutation, by the way. But, so, let's try to wrap our minds around this concept, this theory that I have no way of proving, by the way. So far, I mean, I'm not a spiritual scientist. Would love to be, but right here in the now, I am not. I have clairsentience, the knowing, divine knowing. Whether or not I listen to the divine knowing all the time is tricky as well. So, nice to meet everybody. Glad you could join me. So, I want to talk about polarities, okay? And the third dimension in which we live in. Now, the universe we live in is a universe of polarities, and polarities are two extremes of the same thing. So you take one line, and you've got one extreme and another extreme, but of the same thing. Okay, and that's the dimension, you know, light, dark, up, down. It's kind of like opposites, but they're polarities because they're the same thing. They're just extremes of the same thing. And duality. It would also be duality. Masculine, feminine. Yeah, so everything, think about this. Everything in the human body is in twos just about, except for our mouth, because we should shut the fuck up and listen more. And boy, how true that statement really is. You don't really realize that till you traverse through life and fall on your face and your ass several times and learn the lessons. by integrating them into your everyday life and decisions. So polarities and the dimension we live in, the dualistic dimension we live in, and the balance we're seeking individually and as a collective whole. Okay. And like I said before, I do help quite a few people in their emotional body and connecting with emotional body and doing shadow work as well. So what I'm proposing, my theory, is everything in the human body is in twos. I have a huge question for everybody. Why would our emotions number in, what does the psych say now, 29, 30 different emotions a human has? I call bullshit. Straight up. I call bullshit. Why would everything about us be in twos except our emotions? It's going to be pretty much the same across the board with all four bodies. 3 aspects, and the divinity within, of course, makes 5 bodies, but we'll get to that later. Why would our emotions be 30 and not 2? I would love to hear what everybody thinks, by the way. Am I batshit crazy? Am I off my rocker? Am I onto something? So, our emotions, same polarity, you'll get the same thing, 2 extremes of the same thing. Our emotions are love and fear. Love and fear. And everything else is a feeling that is either backed by love or backed by fear. It's that simple. The human body is the greatest bioengineered computer ever designed, ever made, ever created. Ever. There is nothing in this system that is obsolete or has no purpose. Like our tonsils and our appendix, they have great purpose. To have them removed is shitty. We should never remove anything from our body. Everything can be healed and fixed with frequencies. But back to my theory. Our feelings are our superpowers. We only have 2 emotions, which is love, and fear. Everything else is a feeling either backed by one or the other. To find the neutrality and the balance between the 2 is a huge goal of humanity alone. To balance all the polarities. That's what this dimension is. That's what we're here to learn. To drop the hemispheres and have the divine union within, so then we can have it on the outer, because our outer world is a mere reflection of our inner world. So my theory is that the human body, emotional body, not to be mistaken with the psychological body. You see, it seems that everybody seems to lump those 2 together, and they're 2 different beasts altogether, and should be treated separately as such. You can fix some parts of the mind that will trickle down to your emotional body, and help heal it, but no. You really need to adjust the emotional body as the emotional body. And the traumas there, as such. Each can lead to one or the other. So your emotional body can lead to psychological damage, and your psychological damage can lead to emotional damage. But they're not the same thing. They are 2 separate bodies. and should not be lumped together. We have a lot of gym teachers and physical fitness people, trainers, and athletes and whatnot, and very specifically study the physical human body and push it to its limits and the miraculous things that we can accomplish and do just from our physical being. Okay, so we got a lot of gym teachers. We got a lot of head doctors. We got a lot of shrinks, psychologists, psychotherapists, you name it. We've got a head doctor for whatever your desires, whatever your picking heart needs. We also have a lot of spiritual people. Rabbis, priests, pastors, ministers, the Pope. Anyway, a lot of them to tackle any dogmatic or spiritual issue we might have. We even have the New Age gurus, the Sadhgurus, the Ram Dassas, for the spiritual aspect as well. So, who do we have specifically to help treat our emotional body and our emotional well-being? You can go to a psychologist, but they're treating your head, not your heart. They say, let's see if I can remember what it's called. They call it a somatic healer. I think I'm saying that right. I might not be. Somatic healer. Anyways. So those are your, I got a bug that's driving me nuts, a little gnat. Those are your New Age energy healers. Okay, so somatic healing. Acupuncture, Reiki, yoga, meditating, all of that. Those still don't touch on your emotional body specifically. Those healers, the somatic healers, which are very very huge necessity, I believe, they unblock energy. They're energy unblockers. So when you get acupuncture, you're getting the acupuncture because you have an energetic block within your meridians in your system, within your etheric, emotional body, within your psychological body and physical body and etheric body. You have managed to block your energetic centers and your meridians. So these doctors, the somatic doctors, what they do is they unblock your energy so it can flow again. That's great. It's a Band-Aid. They're putting a Band-Aid on a problem that goes much deeper than energy blockages. Much deeper than energy blockages. Now they're great. I highly respect all these professions, but none of them touch root or base for the emotional body and our core wound trauma and where all these energy blocks may actually stem from to begin with. It's putting a Band-Aid on a problem, not going and finding the root and dealing with the source of the issue. So what would we call emotional doctors for the emotional body? Curious on your thoughts on that one. So there's my one theory is we only have two emotions, love and fear. Everything else is a feeling that's backed by either love or fear. And we also have body consciousness that resides with and works in tandem with our feelings, which are backed by our emotion, love or fear. Our emotions either love or fear. Where in the body, what am I feeling? Is it mine? Where in the body is it? So you can determine where you end and they begin. Especially, this is a very good exercise for the highly sensitive and empathic people out there as well. So my theory, we have two emotions. Everything else is a feeling backed by one or the other, love or fear. Tell me what you think. And tell me what you think about my theory about who's here to help us with our emotional body and help really heal it, not just remove energy blockages from traumas long ago that we haven't even scraped the surface on finding yet. Some of us have, many of us have, but there's a lot of us that have not, that are just now waking up and going, oh, what is going on? We've been lied to for far too long. It's time we all start uniting and setting everything straight and having the tough conversations, talking about the ugly parts within that we just don't even want to look at. Those communication, 95% of all relationships, whether they're platonic, romantic, professional, it doesn't matter. 95% of them break down and crumble because of lack of communication or lack of understanding the communication trying to be. Yeah. So, anyways, let me know what you think, and yeah, I'll keep the videos coming, and I'll get some good topics going, and I'll start, because the shadow work is kind of like, that's the emotional body that nobody's out there going, okay, this is where you start, this is what you need to do, this is how we do it, this is how I did it, this can help you. No, they're just saying, get rid of your ego and death of ego. Ego. You can't kill your ego. You can't get rid of your ego. You can't even get rid of one little piece of you. Because if you did, you would not be whole. You wouldn't be you. You'd only be a fraction of you. You can't get rid of any part of you. That's the craziest thing I've ever heard of. Why would anybody say that? Why would anybody suggest that to another person is beyond me. Yeah. So, you can't get rid of any part of yourself. And we need our ego. Not the negative ego construct, but our ego. Which, by the way, is how we gather our life force, prana, our chi, our ki, into our Taurus area, into our Taurus field. Kind of need that ego. But we don't need the negative ego construct. That's what's being meant when it's said, the death of ego. But if you have literal people like me out there, be like, what? You can't kill your ego. I don't care if you're metaphorically speaking or not. Not everybody understands metaphors. Everybody learns differently, and we have to remember that. Or at least explain what we mean when we say these things, so that they're not misunderstood and people don't just run with them crazy way, and then there's huge misconceptions and misunderstandings and a big old mess. Kind of like the twin flame concept. Everybody wants to jump on that wagon because nobody wants to be alone. But that's another topic for another discussion. Okay. Well, it was nice meeting you guys. Let me know in the comments what you think of my video. If it's crap, if I should start over, if I'm off my rocker, if keep going and, look get better as we go. Because usually I just read the tarots. So, thank you for joining me, and thank you for sharing your energy with me. And, in the Keshalkin, sending you all infinite love and gratitude. Peace.